Hey there, Saguto golfers. Today I've got a really easy golf tip to help you compress those irons and hit them super solid. And what it involves is you swinging smoother, hit the ball farther with less effort, hitting the ball in the center of the club face. I had a student come up to me and he had some good fundamentals, but whenever he was coming into impact, you'd see this desire to hit at the ball. And it led to him getting in this flipping type of impact position. So he wasn't getting any compression on the golf ball. Of course, where I want you to get to is where you're hitting the ball first and taking a nice divot on the front side of it with your arm staying straight through the golf shot. So the way I got him to stop rushing his downswing and stop trying to hit at the ball, and in golf I think we get this mindset that we need to hit at the ball when we really should be swinging through the ball. The ball just happens to be in the way of the golf swing. The club needs to accelerate through the ball. The way I got to train him to do this and stop hitting at it like this, really frustrating. I know there's some of you out there saying, yep, that's me. Well, the way we stop doing that is we have to step back and look at the tempo of your golf swing and make sure that you have the same tempo throughout. Tempo is not to be confused with speed. Tempo is a look type of thing. It's musical, it's flowing. So I have a smooth tempo when my swing appears to be the same pace back and forth. So whether it's 3 seconds or it's a 2-second swing, it's a flowing, smooth tempo. The golf club is allowed to swing through impact nice and easily, but there's plenty of speed. As I'm swinging here, you can hear the whoosh of the club. There's a whoosh. So it's not like I'm swinging slow, but the tempo is smooth. And when you're used to trying to hit at, your tempo might be smooth going back, but then you try and hit. All this effort. Get quick at the golf ball. That's when all your fundamentals get shot to crap. And you go to YouTube looking up golf tips. So what we need to do is to create the same tempo. When you think about your golf swing, I want you to imagine that you're doing the same pace throughout the whole swing. So we have to start off by doing an extremely slow golf swing at about negative 20% of your speed. So it's gonna look something like this. Very slow. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the same pace throughout the entire swing, top of backswing, start the downswing. Very slow. Same pace. Impact. Same pace through impact. You're just trying to feel what's going on in your body and keeping the tempo the same pace throughout. It's going to be tough, especially for you who out there are trying to hit at the ball and you're not compressing it well enough because you're hitting at the ball. So I'll see students who hit at the ball, they'll get to the downswing, they'll get to about this part of the downswing nice and smooth, and then they'll go, eh. So they'll break out of character. They won't be keeping that same smoothness. So the challenge is to keep the same smoothness, and we're going to hit a golf ball while staying nice and smooth. So very slow, methodical, smooth. So the tempo is the same, but you can see that I still accelerated through that golf shot. That golf shot went 75 yards. I barely did anything to it, but it's because I compressed the ball. I allowed the fundamentals to work in my golf swing because I'm swinging smooth. I'm not trying to hit at. Here's a secret. The golf swing will work if you let it work. So there's a lot of different things we use to load power in the golf swing. I'm not going to talk about all of them today, but just to give you an example, as you take the club back, your left arm, your lead arm starts crossing the chest. We take the club in behind our trail shoulder. Our trail arm folds like this. Nice 90-degree angle. Well, in the downswing, that's stored power. So if I'm swinging smooth, the power is allowed to unload by the trail arm getting straight after impact. But I don't need to force it. I don't need to try and hit at the ball. I actually need to get the arm through to here. And the way you do that is you just allow it to work. So I'm swinging smoothly, and watch what happens. Smooth, 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 no change in my tempo. The trail arm folds, coming downswing. The trail arm unloads, impact through, both arms are straight. So I'm swinging smoother, but I'm allowed to hit the ball further with less effort because I get the swing working. I get my body working the way it should by not forcing it. We often try to force things in this game. So we're swinging smoother. You're starting at 25% speed. It's not that I'm not accelerating. I am accelerating, but I'm not forcing it. I'm not forcing the acceleration. Then you work it up into a fuller swing to where you feel like it's 80% tempo. And a lot of pros say they hit at 80% of their power. And there's the reason is you just keep your smoothness doing that. So it looks something like this. And it looked like I did nothing, but that 8-iron's going 170 yards. Crazy. It's crazy. It's almost so crazy that it just might work. So the idea here is you want to swing smoother to hit the ball further. Your tempo needs to stay the same throughout. All right, so you're working on this in your house. You take out your handy dandy divot board, and if you don't have one of these, you need to get one because it helps you train proper impact from anywhere in the world. It shows you exactly where the club comes into the ground. You're working on your 25% tempo right here. So you can see where the club's going to come into the ground. It's great for training impact to stop hitting at the ball. So I'm beginning my 25% swing. There's my smooth impact through the ball. And as you can see, the divot board just relayed that I had a strike on the front side of the golf ball. So there's the ball, and there's the divot on the front side of the ball. Really awesome. You're doing this in slow motion, so you're training nothing but good habits. You should be doing this at 25% speed every day, making sure you do at least 10 or 20 swings. At least 10 or 20 swings like this, nice and smooth. Beautiful. Look at that. Instant feedback from the divot boards telling me I'm hitting the ball first and I'm taking a divot on the front side of the ball. It's also telling me that my path is a little bit in to out, so I'm creating draw spin on this golf ball. Invaluable practice tool. You can check it out and find it in the link in the comments and description below. I use it all the time to practice. There's a reason why. It just plain works, and you can do it anywhere. Saguto golfers, meet Larry. Larry was struggling with hitting at the ball. This is the student I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. So this was the first swing he came to me with. At about this point in his downswing, he would hit at the ball hard with his hands, and this would cause a flipping of the wrist through impact. So you see the club points downrange, and the right arm has gotten very straight. So there's almost no compression with these types of golf shots. Flipping leads to inconsistency and frustration. Flipping leads to flipping out. So in the new swing, I told Larry to work at 25% speed. So here's his 25% speed swing. He's not going to try and hit at, he's trying to keep the smoothness in his swing throughout. So look what happens here. He gets to impact. You see the hands leading the club head at impact. So there's some forward shaft lean, right arm supporting. That's exactly what you should see at impact, as opposed to the desire to flip. Like right here, the club shaft starts to pass the hands and get ahead of the hands. So the club head ahead of the hands, no good. But you want the forward shaft lean like Larry here on the right. Through impact, because Larry didn't try and hit at the ball and he kept his smoothness, he allowed his swing to work properly. So through impact, he's keeping his elbows together, his arms staying straight and extended. And look at this, right arm straight, but there is the angle between the wrist and the forearm. That's the flying wedge, the cheese wedge. Lead arm is straight through the club shaft pointing down. Very different than the flip with the old Larry. Old Larry was flipping out. New Larry in his transformation was having a ball hitting KFC golf shots doing this. Down the line we see some really good changes as well. In the old swing here on the left, Larry would take the club back with a very steep club shaft here, leading to a steeper start to the downswing. The club was approaching through the upper part of his back, his upper shoulder. And we all know that when the club is steep, your power is getting directed straight down into the ground, and the swing requires nothing but timing and hand-eye coordination, which is difficult to rely on, tough to repeat. And Larry was struggling with inconsistency. That's one of the reasons why. So when Larry started working on a slower, smoother swing, you can see a big difference at the top of the backswing here. He was actually able to get more body turn instead of being so restricted. His old swing was all hands and arms. His new swing involved using the body. So the hands are lower at the top of his backswing. The hands are in. It's easier to get the club right back to the ball in the downswing here. So look, the club is behind the hands. Club behind the hands. And the club can go directly to the ball. That's the most direct route, and that's the powerful route to the ball that you see the pros taking. That's very different than this start to the downswing, where it's steep. The club is going straight down into the ground. At this point in the downswing, very different. This is what you see with the pros, club head behind the hands. And this is what you see with most amateurs here. The club head is in line with the hands, or sometimes the club's out in front of the hands. It's going straight down into the ground. So chopping here, powerful here. Nice pro-like downswing. When I pull up a pro model, you'll see the same type of pattern. Top of backswing, hands low behind the trail shoulder. Then coming into impact, you see the club shaft in line with the right forearm, and the club shaft going, and the club head going directly to the golf ball like this. All from swinging smoother and not trying to hit at the golf ball. Nice work, Larry. So you start off by building a 25% tempo. You start off like this. And then you work your way up to an 80% tempo. But the tempo is still the same throughout the entire swing. The only thing that changes is you're naturally going to hit it further because you're accelerating more. You don't have to try to accelerate more, just stay smooth and the acceleration will take care of itself. So thanks for tuning in today, Saguto golfers. Go out there, swing smoother. Don't try and hit at the ball. The ball will get hit at the right time if you allow your golf swing to work properly.